I want you to hold up here. I want to thank you for being the presenting sponsor of our closing keynote speaker today, and I'm really thrilled to introduce him. As CEO of the Middleby Corporation, Selim Bassoul has led the company to record-breaking revenues and the development of top innovation with technology over the past 2 decades. Under his leadership, Middleby has grown from 100 million and a few brands to nearly 2.5 billion global powerhouse, 60 brands, 5 different business platforms. Today, 1 out of every 3 restaurants worldwide uses the Middleby brands in their commercial kitchen. Selim's proven, effective, and as you will see, unconventional management style has been featured in the Wall Street Journal, Fortune, Forbes, CNBC, and other top business media. He was named the Motley Fool's Best CEO by founder Tom Gardner. The company has also been one of the best performing companies on the NASDAQ exchange over the past 15 years, a Forbes Best Small Company for 8 consecutive years. But forget all of that. Giving back is central to Selim's life, as you're going to see. Voted the #1 All-American CEO in 2017 by institutional investors, and recently he's got a couple of awards for the philanthropic efforts, including recognition from Ernst & Young in Monaco this last June for World Entrepreneur of the Year for social impact. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the dynamic CEO of the Middleby Corporation, Mr. Selim Bassoul. Come on up here, Selim.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This, you can see this picture. This was in Dubai, in the UAE, in October this year. And we had a very long walkway to introduce our speakers. And I remember watching Selim, and it was like he's walking, and it's a long walk, and he's walking faster, faster, and faster. And the next thing you know, he's coming up on stage. And that's a pretty good jump right there.
Dave, the difference is that you cut back here. You had a trampoline there. You don't have it here. A jump and flew off.
Yeah, I don't think so. The
Dave,
stage is yours.
Thank you.
Thank you
very
Selim.
much. Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody. And let me, I don't know if this is gonna. So this is Middleby a little bit, and we have 8,000 employees, 110 countries, 5 business platforms. Many of our customers are here today, and as David spoke, it's 1 out of 3 restaurants in the world use our equipment. I can stand in front of you and talk about Middleby innovation and solutions for restaurant kitchen. Very tempting. At least 75% of all restaurant executives are represented here. As I watch the audience today, I recognize many familiar and friendly faces. I know somewhere around here the Papa John team is here, and I'm sure they want to basically hear me talk about our 2-minute pizza oven. Charlie Morrison of Wingstop. I've known Charlie for 15 years, a great friend of mine. I'm sure he wants me to speak about our new oil sensor on our fryers. Ian Bates of Cheddar's would like to have me speak about Scratch Kitchen Solutions. Karen Studds, I've known Karen also for a long time, of Red Robin, would like to hear about our new automated burger grill. Todd Penegor of Wendy's would like to hear about our robotics. And get Greg Creed of Yums about our latest delivery system. Les Carroll of Arby's about Garden Fresh. I would love to talk about all those innovations and solutions, but that's not what I'm here. I'm here for something a lot more important. When David Job called me to be a speaker today, I had a major conflict. We are inaugurating today and tomorrow our multi-million-dollar industrial bakery technology center in Dallas. One of the biggest bakery test centers in the world. We have over 200 customers and friends, and I'm supposed to do the ribbon cutting. So why come I'm here? Well, David is definitely a very persistent individual, I have to admit. He kept on telling me the type of audience you will be seeing, and it's good to represent Middleby and myself in front of 1,200 CEOs of the industry. He's right. It's an impressive audience. While this is a great reason, the better argument came from my wife, Andrea, sitting here with me. She said to me that my speech and my story would be a great inspiration, a rare opportunity to stand in front of leading men and women and men of significant power and authority, all assembled in one place here in Phoenix, to inspire them to make a significant change in someone's life. She said to me, you will be addressing the brightest and smartest people in our industry, if not in the business world. Go share your experience. So let me start telling you about my involvement in philanthropy and how it started. For the past 30 years, I've been doing charity work, from giving up many weekends and holidays to serve soup kitchens, to care for sick children, to help battered women in the Middle East, to support discriminated people. I helped my church. I gave money for scholarship, to support tuition of low-income students. I sent disadvantaged children from the south side of Chicago to get on a plane for the third time and go to China. And I have been recognized for my work by many associations and groups, but I was thirsty for more. I wanted to focus on challenges that can be addressed on a global level. My life, like many of you, has been on the go-getter side. Very successful in business and totally focused on building Middleby into an $8 billion market cap company. However, in the past couple of years, the urge to give back on a big scale became a priority. However, I did not know how to do it. If I ask the question now, I'm sure many of you would say the same thing. I'm busy. We're all busy. How do we do it? So I grew up in Lebanon in a low-income middle class. My father was an Olympic swimmer. I am dyslexic, an illness not diagnosed nor treated at that time. I was falling behind in school, but my parents never gave up on me. They were very supportive and kept on building my self-esteem, and that made all the difference. I could have easily fallen through the cracks. But the biggest influence on me growing up was my aunt. Take a picture of that. She was a Catholic nun who founded La Crèche, an orphanage that welcomes challenged children. She was and she took in children that were challenged, disabled, and she was the most educated in our family. Her approach was to invest literally in less in institutionalized living and to invest more in family living. She created a warmer home, a safer shelter, and an outstanding education. Even children with disability were given strong vocational skill. She created mechanisms for the family to adopt children and raise them at home. Her model is now copied around the world, and she had a huge impact on me. In 1976, so let me tell you what she told me, that you can't think too big. And she always told me that, even when I became a CEO. So in 1976, I was ready to start college. Civil war had erupted, and my father lost his government job. So he had no job. I had been admitted to the American University of Beirut, the top university in the Middle East, a private school with a high tuition. Unfortunately, my parents couldn't afford it. But someone told me of the William Dodge Scholarship. William Dodge was one of the founders of the university in the 1870s. He created a university scholarship program that outlasted his life. At the time, basically, he created a legacy of over 100 years. It changed my life, and as a recipient of the scholarship, the William Dodge Scholarship, I'm standing in front of you. Otherwise, I would not have had an education. So again, when you went to the American University of Beirut, every day I went into the school, there was a saying, in a big plaque coming in and still there, that they may have life and have it abundantly. Then, in 1990, I met a great man, a remarkable athlete willing to speak his mind and a courage to challenge the status quo. Despite his Parkinson's disease, he never stopped traveling the world, working for peace and helping so many people. He inspired me to be the best version of myself. This man is Muhammad Ali. And every time I met Muhammad Ali, he would tell me the following: doing good to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. So those three people had inspired me, and I kept my antennas open, looking at how to give back in a big way. So it happened a few years ago. As I was watching footage on TV of Syrian refugees, I began praying for them for their safety. It hit me hard when I learned this. Look at this. In 1921, there were 1 million refugees, right after First World War I. After World War II, there is 11 million refugees. That's after the Holocaust. In 2016, there is 65 million refugees, the biggest displacement of people ever. So from that perspective, you look at it, that comes up to 24 people are displaced every minute in 2016. So at that time, I assumed that big organizations such as United Nations, Red Cross, and the big government would be doing something about this issue. So basically, in December 2015, I visited my family for Christmas in Lebanon, as we always do. While in Lebanon, people kept on talking about the 2 million refugees that were in the Bekaa Valley, which is 2 hours away from Beirut. And at the time, I kept on asking them, do you know how those people were living? How are they getting by? And none of my family, none of my friends, none of anybody in Lebanon I've met had ever visited the camps. And they said, Selim, all we know is what we see on TV. There was a force inside me pushing me to go to the Bekaa Valley, to go see those refugees. In spring 2016, I finally decided to make the trip to the Bekaa Valley. It was a hard decision. We had just been blessed with a baby girl, less than 4 months old. The security in Lebanon, and especially in the Bekaa Valley, close to the Syrian border, is highly dangerous. So I had many discussions with my wife, and she was very supportive and gave me the okay. So in 2016, at Easter 2016, we went back to Lebanon, and I decided early in the morning, one day, to go up to the Bekaa Valley, and that was the blessing of Andrea, where the refugee camps are. A 2-hour nerve-wracking drive. As I went in the camps, I found people like you and me disrupted with no fault of their own. They were shopkeepers, housewives, electricians, farmers, plumbers. I met grandparents raising grandchildren because their sons and daughters were killed in the war. And each camp is miles and miles of dilapidated tents. Look at this. I saw girls spending hours fetching wood instead of being in a classroom. I watched young boys working in sweatshops for $1 a day instead of being in school. So let's do one thing and watch my experience as if you were in the camps when I went up there. So please, can you roll the video? Life in Syria was similar to lives in any other country, and people going about their daily jobs in peace, whether tending to their shops or spending time with loved ones or just farming. In 2011, civil war broke out and they were displaced from their homes and they became refugees. I couldn't stay silent. I felt a moral obligation to act. During a recent visit to my native country, Lebanon, I saw the escalating number of refugees and their dire situation.
كل شهر
Felt
هيك
compelled
يعني ونحن
to find a way.
مرفوضين لا أمم ولا شيء، ما بتجينا مساعدة
ما
خالص.
بتجي المساعدة أبدا. We need to change impact of life. We need to make lives easier. عندك تقريبا 15 مليون عائلة. 80% نسوان وبنات بيروحوا بجيبوا الحطب ويعملوا الأكل راح نهارهم، يعني البنات ما هم بيدرسوا والنسوان ما هم بيعملوا شيء قاعدين جوا.
As I gathered evidence of ways to help, one idea started to take form in my mind. Using our core competency, we should create an oven, a unique oven. So I sat down with my engineering team at Middleby to come up with a fast solution.
So beyond cooking, the appliance can charge a cell phone through heat transfer, not using electricity. The goal is to free the lives of women and girls by allowing them to find time to go to school and find decent employment instead of spending hours searching for wood to cook.
ضل كل نهار لجمع كومة حطب، بتفت حطب، بتولع، بتطبخ.
Speed matters, but the most important speed is the velocity of goodness. I would say to the world, even if it is in a very small way, rush to be good.
Thank you. Thank you. I tell you, every time I watch this video, and I've watched it many times, I've been to the camps many times, I get emotional. It's hard not to. But let me tell you more than what's captured on the film. As you walk in the camps, the first time I walk in the camp, there is a suffocating odor through the camp. It takes a few hours and you get accustomed to it. However, what you never get accustomed to is the mosquitoes. So I was getting 10 mosquito bites per minute, and I was almost doing this every minute. And then look at this, children. And I didn't think of that. Really, when I went up there, I was thinking about this. And then I ended up trying, as I traveled around to the camp, I tried to find any types of mosquito repellents I could find to give away. And some people told me skin's so soft, some probably, so we sent a lot of stuff there to help those people. And then you watch something else. You watch children, while in the video you see it, but what is striking to you, now that we had a 1-year-old baby, look what you see. It rains in Lebanon. It snows in the Bekaa Valley. Children, no shoes, no toys, nothing to do. Look at this. It snows in Lebanon. People don't think about it. We're not a desert. So those people have leaky tents, and children out there, they have nothing to do all day. And they come to you and they are holding your feet when you're starting to leave, and the parents and the grandparents say, can you take those children away with you? And it's heartbreaking. So I came back determined to create the best oven I could. I did a lot of research, the way we would do it at Middleby if we're trying to sell a solution to Wendy's, to Darden, to Papa John, to Yums. And we created an oven. We put a lot of our effort into it, and let me show you this oven. So you can see here girls washing dishes. This is the oven.
The oven is unique because it has 26 patents on it. We put every effort we did as if it was our best customer. It cooks, first of all, the first thing we did, the oven had it couldn't tip, even on uneven floors. It was light, somewhat light, so it's portable. It was intuitive. It also allowed to access any pot. And then we created an accessory to cook bread on top. It also heats faster. It boils water in less than 7 minutes versus open fires that takes 30 minutes. It takes almost no wood. It had no smoke, no toxic smoke, so you can put it inside a tent and not get killed. Because it has what TurboChef does, some catalytic converter inside. And all this costs $400. So when you look at this, well, you can see it over there. So it has the ability through solar or heat transfer to light a bulb or charge a phone. So let's talk about this. Why is this important? Because literally, they were spending every month, almost every tent, every family was spending around $50 to get one light bulb and one plug. That's a lot of money for them. They don't have money. So what we did, and that's why they sent boys and girls to the field or the sweatshop to pay for certain food and for the electricity. Now they took away. We saved them $50. We also saved them the time to walk basically 8 kilometers a day, 15 kilograms of wood every day to carry. So we were able to free basically children to go back to the classroom. Let me show you what happened since. Here is a picture sent to me from the camp. So prior to us doing the oven, that classroom was not as full. Look at it now. People are back in the classroom because they are not getting. So we have this cherished in our home. It's being sent from the camp, and we're so happy about the impact we've made. So as we continue, God works in mysterious ways. Maybe it's my aunt talking to me from above. I was thinking originally of helping a few thousand Syrian refugees in Lebanon, Jordan, and Turkey. I started getting requests from organizations from all over the world for our oven. I have to thank Cisco. Cisco organization asked me through their employees. They learned about this. They saw it in Dubai. And they asked me to send ovens through them to Haiti. However, watch what we discovered. 3 billion people on Earth use firewood to cook, open fire to cook food. 4 million perish every year because of fumes. How many of you knew this? I didn't. We are in ovens, I didn't know that. So ultimately now, half of the world population rely and cook on open fires, and 4 million die each year. So in our wildest dream, Andrea and I never thought that we would be tackling a billion people problem. When I thought that I wanted a big scale, I didn't think this was the big scale. So as we continue sending ovens around the world, we basically said, okay, what else we can do for those women? Now they have time on their hand. They are not out getting a lot of wood. They don't have the phone. They can send girls and boys to school. There are no TV, no internet, no electricity other than the bulb and the plug. There is no form and transportation to go out of the camp. So we decided, what can we do to keep those women occupied? David, can you this is the first time I unveil our next chapter. This is a chapter the foundation is doing. Dave, please.
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
This is heavy, by the way, too.
Thank you very much, Dave. Stay with me since you're going to be, this is it. So I've been thinking, me and Andrea, and many people gave me input. So we decided to look for a sewing machine that does not use electricity. Remember the way it's foot-powered or it's crank, like our grandmother used to. So not only we found a source that refurbished them, and we're looking on eBay and all of that. So we sent our first one. So my parents had one from my grandmother that I had it refurbished in Lebanon, and I'll show you what we did with that. Let me tell you what it is. So this is basically our hope, so we can teach. Now we get women to get a skill, to bond, to be creative. This is our actual machine from our home in Lebanon that my parents gave to us. We refurbished it, and this is one of the women. They take turns to use it, and we're gonna basically create it around the world, in Africa, in Asia. That's what we're doing, in addition to the oven. So that's our next chapter. So literally, what my aunt taught me was to operate with heart. What William Dodge taught me is that philanthropy is timeless. Remember, 100 years before I went to school, he created a scholarship that outlasted him and allowed me to be here. What Muhammad Ali told me that you could push the boundaries of what is acceptable. And I think David really asked me to push the boundary today. That's why he asked me to come, knowing that I had a big conflicting event, but he said, Selim, this is what I need you to do. So most important, what I learned from all those three people is that you spread what you know. So my aunt, Muhammad Ali, and William Dodge spread what they know. Information that has to be shared with other people. So then, what I also learned that connecting people is a little thing that can make a big difference. This is the power of this conference. I'm here to inspire you only. Let me make it clear. In fact, our foundation, and Andrea and I, do not accept any penny, no money from you. It's self-funded, and it will continue to be self-funded. So this is not, we are giving our money totally to help those people. So this is not a fundraising event. It's just to ask you to help us inspire others in your own way, the way we did it. So literally, when I look back, the speed that matters most is what this conference is about, is the velocity of goodness. We do a lot of speed in our work, in our operation. Let's go and do speed to help others. From this, I'm totally in, I'm fully committed. Are you? From that perspective, we're going to open it to question and answer. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much. David?
You want to take a couple
Yes,
questions?
I'm going to take a few questions. But I want to take a minute to thank David first for pushing me to be here, for my wife to say to be here, for Jed and Ware to sponsor me to be here to speak to all of you. If you're standing here and you look out there, it's like Star Wars. There are so many people in this room. So any questions?
Are there any questions? I think we have some mic wranglers on the side. We have one or two very quick questions, and then we can go eat.
Okay. The question is, how did your employee respond to the creation of the stove? How about the board of directors? Well, first, our employees got really empowered. It gave us a meaning and purpose. And in fact, I have several of our employees here. It bonded us. Our employees loved it because now we're using our core competency to create something that helps millions of people, not billions. We are very proud of what we do. In fact, our employees take pictures. It's rare to go to any of our cubicles or our offices and there's no picture of this. My employees say to me, I would like to deduct money out of my paycheck to send to people. I said, no, we're not going to do that. We'll send it on your behalf. The foundation not taking money. But it's been fantastic. What about the board of directors? The board of directors has been highly supportive. Why? because literally we've been blessed as a company because of all of you. Many of you support us, and we thank you for allowing us to earn your business. And the board of directors says with all success, it's great to give back. And they were very pleased about that. So from that perspective, it's been easy.
Paul, you have a question right here?
Right here.
Yeah, come on, Paul.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
What can we do to help your efforts?
Simply think of simple stuff. Mosquitoes. Think about what you do at work. There must be tons of, we'll need help. There's a lot of things, challenges around the world. All I want you to do is think the way. Now, people ask me how. Can you discover the how? It was not difficult. I kept on listening and I kept on focusing on literally something. I wanted to do something big. I could have sat down like everybody else, like my brother, my friends, my parents. They didn't do anything. My wife could have said it's very dangerous for a CEO or an American citizen. I'm well known in Lebanon. I'm like the local hero. To go to the Bekaa Valley and get harassed or worse than that. But I still did it. There was something. If there is something in you, let those antennas be out and push yourself to do something that is in your core competency. Any other question?
So Selim, I know you're going to be out in the product gallery.
Yes.
You've brought the state-of-the-art robotics. You've brought your 3D printing. You've brought all of those things. I know that was at great expense, and we are so appreciative for that. So we will see you this evening out at the Middleby booth. How about a round of applause, everybody, for Selim Bassoul?
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you so very much.